the message has come through. Another fire mission is about to begin. We spent several hours just sitting around waiting after the early morning fire mission of 4 shells. Now the crew are back in the tank and they're about to open fire again. Which is what they've just done. My ears are ringing. Drone has just passed over our position. Deep in the forests of northern Ukraine, a deadly game of hide-and-seek is being played out. A century-old military technology versus a new weapon which has come to dominate the Ukrainian battlefield. Tank versus drone. Often it's not clear whose side the drones are on. Precautions must be taken.
If you hear the command "Земля," it means ground. Just fall on the ground and stay on the ground.
Better safe than and cover sword.
Drone.
This summer we travelled to the latest front line to emerge in the battle for Ukraine. We were given unprecedented access to units of the Kraken Regiment, a special forces element of Ukraine's military intelligence. They're one of the elite units that was rushed to the Sumy front, the closest to the capital Kyiv, to face a new Russian incursion which began earlier this year. The Russians knew it would be a tough fight in this terrain. Here, 2 of the invaders discussed the challenges while looking at drone footage.
Вообще хуйня осталась, блядь. Пизда, блядь. Леса плотные, пиздец. Ну да, вот эти посадки, это, блядь, мясорубка, нахуй. Раз. Блядь. Пизда, вот это пиздец. Вон Сумы, блядь, а этот лес. Это с одной стороны, его пройти надо, а с другой, блядь, и для нас хорошо. Попробуй впивишками нас оттуда выкури, если загоримся, нахуй. Ну да, в обе стороны, ебаный в рот.
Морями только, нахуй. С их стороны, с нашей стороны сбросили.
They were right to be concerned. The Russians have been stopped, and in some places pushed back. But the fighting in the forests and hillsides is bitter. This 2-part film is the story of how deep in the forest, one Ukrainian tank and its crew helped stem the Russian offensive, and how the Russians sent their latest weapons to find and destroy them. During the course of our filming, our 4x4 sustained its first combat damage of the war.
Так, что-то летит. Саня, дивись, щось летить. Давайте в укрытие.
This is what we saw. It's a summer's dawn in Sumy Oblast, a little after 4 in the morning. The truck we're following belongs to the Kraken Regiment. We've had to start this early to reach one of the Kraken firing positions before the daylight Russian drone threat reaches its height. Notice the poles which have been erected on either side of the highway. Soon they'll be supporting hundreds of meters of mesh to protect passing vehicles against Russian kamikaze drones. Like an enormous baseball cage or cricket net, but in reverse. The rising sun is yet to burn off the mist on the fields. The countryside around us has a haunting beauty. Silhouetted against the dawn, storks are nesting on telegraph poles. In Ukraine, they're supposed to be a sign of good luck. It doesn't feel very fortunate where they are, so close to the front line. But in war, luck is relative. Overnight rain has turned dust tracks into mud.
Something feels quite disconcerting being in the open again.
And daylight, however beautiful, means danger from above. Further confirmation that we're in the kill zone. A Ukrainian Humvee carrying a coke cage the size of a small bungalow. Now we're driving into the sunrise. It's lovely but fraught with jeopardy. At last we enter the forest, where the war is being fought. A small deer running in front of our vehicles along a logging track darts into the undergrowth. Soon, for our own preservation, we will have to do the same. 2 soldiers have just stepped from the forest to move enough foliage and camo knitting from the tree line to let our vehicles through. We drive into a small thicket on the edge of a wooded valley. The tree canopy should hide us from Russian drones. All the same, it's a tight squeeze, and the crash and echo of artillery fire is a constant reminder that we're not here for a walk in the woods. Okay, we're deep in the forest again. It's just after 5:30 in the morning and we've come to the tank position. The gentleman here
Electron.
very cautious about moving anywhere in the open, and we have to constantly keep listening for what's happening above. If we hear any buzzing, doesn't matter. We can't identify it. Straight into the dugout. Olex relays more detailed instructions about what we must do if the position comes under attack from Russian drones or artillery.
Stick to the trunk of the tree, or it's better to hide. There can be a case that drone comes down all the way at height of 3 to 5 feet and checks the surrounding. Also, there can be shelling. If you hear the command "Земля," it means ground. Just fall on the ground and stay on the ground. I mean, fall not like knee, taking a knee, but literally fall with your face or whatever. Because there can be also cluster munition as well as regular shrapnel. Please keep it in mind.
Better safe than Olex then deals with my perennial chin strap issue. It's noisy. 20 miles to the southwest, you can still eat sushi in an air-conditioned shopping mall. Up here, the battle for Sumy rages on. Because of the dense foliage and the camo netting, it's difficult to make out what's only a few meters away. And something very big is very close to us indeed. A 45-ton monster lurking in the undergrowth. It's the reason why we're here, and why there is so much Russian drone activity overhead. A Ukrainian T-80 main battle tank.
This is a T-80 tank, which started the war in the Russian army. It was captured by the Ukrainians in Sumy. Originally, it's an export version. I'm told that it was originally manufactured for the Greek army, but was never sent. And so it's had quite an interesting history. Now it's here in Sumy, shelling Russian infantry positions.
The T-80 was a design from the Soviet era, based on that of the earlier T-64. It first entered service with the Soviet Army in 1976. What made it different from any other tank in the world up to that point was that it was powered by a gas turbine rather than a diesel engine. It had an extremely low profile and 3-man crew. The commander and loader sat side by side in the turret, and the driver in the main body at the front. The T-80 was very fast for a main battle tank, albeit with a high fuel consumption. Under Soviet doctrine, that combination of speed and firepower was to be used to reach the English Channel coast in 5 days of Warsaw Pact blitzkrieg. But armoured warfare has changed dramatically since the T-80 first emerged. Not only since the end of the Cold War, but following the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. The rise to dominance of one new weapon in particular has seen to that.
Like most tanks on the battlefield, the Ukrainian battlefield, this is being used as static artillery. It wasn't designed to be employed in this role. It was for assaults and tank-on-tank combat. The advent of the drone, the FPV drone, the FPV fibre optic drone has changed the battlefield, has changed warfare. These tanks simply cannot survive out in the open, manoeuvring in the way that they were designed for, or in the way that they would have fought maybe 5 years ago. They are very vulnerable to both not just drones, but also modern anti-tank weaponry, which is designed to hit the top of the tank where the armour is thinnest. So tanks have gone into hides like this. This is how they survive. They can still contribute to the war because they're firing indirectly like artillery, but it's not the role for which they were designed.
Not being designed as an artillery piece, the T-80's main gun doesn't have tremendous maximum angle of elevation, so the crew here have improvised in a way that is so basic it's almost medieval. The front end of the tank has been propped up on logs to increase the range of the high explosive shells it has been lobbing at Russian frontline infantry positions. And while the T-80 has been fitted with a coat cage against kamikaze drones, nature's camouflage, the summer tree canopy, provides its best protection. Olex and I talked to the tank crew about their vehicle. They're all from the predominantly Russian-speaking city of Kyiv. For security reasons, we can't identify them, but the commander, call sign Mikulich, is crouching in the middle. He's 50 years old and a turbine engineer in civilian life. He's known one of the other crew, a fellow engineer, for 25 years. As a crew, they're troubleshooters, who are sent to crisis points on the front when needed. But their biggest enemy, they confirm, is the Russian kamikaze drone. It's just after 6 a.m. when the crew receive orders for their first fire mission of the day.
Пока что приостанавливаемся.
Працюємо?
Буде робота.
Богоробок.
Буде громко.
Headphones.
We go to work too.
There we go. And we're on.
Jamie goes with the tank commander Mikulich to position a GoPro camera outside the thicket. It's always a risk to leave cover in the kill zone, but so far the sky overhead seems clear of enemy drones. Now we have to listen to the war going on around us, while the tank awaits its cue. That's the sound of an insect, by the way, not a Russian drone. And that's the sound of yet more heavy artillery.
Ну да.
Смотрите, стрельбу можно снимать только наушники шипят. И машина, особенно сбоку, буде дуже громко. Да. Ззаді ще нічого, збоку буде капець.
Try to be a bit behind the tank.
Вот такое расстояние. Вот отсюда будете снимать. Только готовьтесь до волны. Будет отдача, раскат, короче, будет. Поняли, от пушки.
Be prepared for feedback.
А вони по команді будуть? Да. Все, услышите, если скажут в огонь, фаер, короче, ну, то он уже готов стрелять. Сейчас они пока что в готовности.
It's quite nerve-wracking.
It's pushing. Yeah. Yeah, it's pushing the Humvee.
Russian drones are already hunting over the forest. Small arms fire from across the valley suggests one is close, and the Ukrainians are trying to bring it down. Now another sign that something is about to happen. A crew member leaves the thicket to move the tank's camouflage screen to allow a clear field of fire. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone is on station to monitor the tank's first target of the day. The map coordinates have been given to Mikulich and his colleagues, who adjust the elevation and direction of the gun accordingly. Live video feed from the drone will allow them to correct the fall of their shots. Now, all we're waiting for is the command, "Postrel," which means fire in Ukrainian. You're going to hear "postrel" an awful lot in this film. Tension. Artillery crashes all around us, and we're warned to be careful of the shockwave when our own tank opens fire. You're going to see the destructive effect of those shockwaves on our own vehicle in the second half of this film. I can't help but flinch. The shockwaves are like slaps of hot air. Green leaves not due to fall for months are torn from branches. Dust and smoke intermingle and the forest is filled with ear-singing sound. Such is proximity to massive firepower. Our own physical discomfort is nothing to those in the target area. The high explosive round is now heading towards the Russians at a speed of 750 meters per second. Others are also busy. In the lane beside the thicket, military traffic braves the drone threat. On the forest floor, a stag beetle, the tank of the insect world, also goes about its business. But what about the real tank? After only one shot, there's an unexpected pause in the fire mission.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
There might be some malfunction. Jimmy, careful, there might be a shockwave.
Yeah. Trouble is, I can't see anything through the trees, which I realise is a lesser consideration. Trees is your safety. Yeah. So the flower.
Several minutes pass before the problem is cleared. Meanwhile, the war carries on without us. Shells from other gun positions shriek up our little valley at supersonic speed. Unlike the camouflage tank, this wasp moth is a moth trying to look like something more dangerous than it really is, so it will be left alone. All the same, it appears to have suffered battle damage to one of its wings. When not firing, the tank goes back to resembling part of the forest, almost impossible to see. Any problem that had existed has been fixed. Aiming corrections have been made. The tank is about to fire again. Each time the tank fires, the risk of being spotted by Russian reconnaissance drones increases. Less than 2 minutes later, the tank fires a third round.
Повтори, Сань, сказали.
It is feel shockwaves washing over you every time it fires. It's extremely sharp crack. Anyway, three shells now. The sound of a large drone nearby raises the pulse rate, but there's a Ukrainian Vampire drone unit flying bombing and supply missions from a position in the forest close to us. What you hear is one of their aircraft. The tank's fire mission can continue. That's the fourth. Hear the automatic reloading. After firing 4 shells in 10 minutes, the crew get the order to ceasefire. The mission must have been a success. Now their tank must disappear again behind its camouflage screen. Russian drones will be hunting for the source of the shellfire. Everything has gone smoothly so far. It's not yet 6:30 a.m. But then, we all hear the sound which is most feared all along Ukraine's 700-mile front line. The unmistakable buzz of an FPV kamikaze drone approaching our position.
Так, що-то летить. Саня, дивись, щось летить. Давайте в укрытие. Да, в укрытие. Давайте в сюда. Саня, дивись, щось летить. Давайте.
Drone.
Дай спереди. Коля, вылазь. Саня, вылазь, летает.
Саня, щось летить.
Целенаправленно туда полетів.
Маскировали.
Помпи нема у вас, ні?
А?
Помпи нема?
A shotgun is the last line of defense against a kamikaze drone.
Ты записал 50, да?
Да, навелись. Я уже накрутил.
А ну все, оно пролетело.
Все замаскировано.
Ага.
Had the tank been seen by the enemy while it was firing? Can the drone pilot, if he is Russian, spot the tank now? If he can, we're all in big trouble inside our small and cramped thicket, which is why everyone, including the crew, are heading for the only dugout. As we wait for the all clear, other sounds of nature and war continue. A military jet flies low over the forest, an uncommon occurrence given the strength of both sides' air defense systems. It's almost certainly Ukrainian, on a ground attack mission. It's been confirmed that the sky's now clear. The Russian kamikaze drone struck another position nearby, and we get feedback from the Ukrainian drone pilot, who was watching the tank crew's first fire mission of the day. So they've fired 4 shells at a Russian infantry target, specific target. They were called in, there was a fire mission called in, and the word has just come back over the radio from whoever was controlling the fire mission from the drone, and the message was very simple: f***ing good. It was a direct hit. But as the day progresses and the tank is given new fire missions, the Russian drone threat will only increase. In part 2 of this film, the frontline team's 4x4 receives its first combat damage of the war. You will also see the Kraken tank smash 2 more Russian positions, but the Zala drones are out hunting for her. And when they find her, the battlefield's latest wonder weapon will move in for the kill. Will Mikulich and his comrades survive the attack?